Listen, I have an idea.
It's how I feel when you make lemonade. Whatever today has given you. 5'11" headaches, still call it Thanksgiving. True.
Welcome to another edition of the Super Duper Pod. I'm your host, Rob Briggs, here with the super producer, Ez McMahon.
Yes. What's going on, Rob? How you doing, man?
Good. So you got the real HU hat?
Yes, sir. You know it.
Thank you for checking out the Super Duper Pod. We do not take your listens lightly. Make sure you follow us on all socials, SUPADUPAPOD. What up, Sarah? And online at HP53productions.com for our merch. We got it fixed.
Everything showed up, man.
Yeah, man. You know,
nice sweatshirt.
That was the Brunch Besties last year. Inside joke.
They got theirs.
They got their stuff, man. Send me a video and everything, which was hilarious. I got to send it to Sarah. But thank you for checking. Make sure you check out the site, HP53productions.com. You can also find additional content such as the Father Good podcast. And I'm on with Ez McMahon with the Easy Smoke and GM podcast. So you guys wrapping up for the draft?
We're getting ready for it. Yeah, we didn't record this week, but we'll probably next week.
So I see Shadua is falling, man. That's like
that's what happens during this time
mm-hmm.
Of the draft process. You know, all the negative stuff.
Yeah,
that you can come up with comes out,
and it's crazy.
His is just that he has too much bravado.
Yeah. It's crazy. How many?
Too much confidence. I don't know if is that a such thing?
Well, some would say. How many MVPs has Lamar Jackson won? 3, 2?
2.
And he was like the last pick of the first round.
Yeah.
They were like, I think
Bill Polian said that he should switch to wide receiver.
Yeah,
he's like, not a quarterback.
You know, it really just feels like this stuff is really hit or miss. I feel like in the NBA, the draft is more sure. Like it's kind of like, we feel like this would be a good thing. In the NFL, I mean, guys are stars who are in the 5th and 6th rounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like
you can definitely. There's no wasted picks. You can find somebody. Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, they're saying, was a 6th round pick.
Hey man, Brock Purdy about to get paid. Yeah, he's a Mr. Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah. And for those who know, Mr. Irrelevant is the last pick of the NFL draft. So it's crazy.
That can happen in the NFL. But man, the draft process. I mean, so much goes into it. You got agents that get into it and basically pull the stock down of rival players, and by throwing misinformation out there, and it's a crazy process, man.
Yeah, man, and it seems like it's like we were saying, people, you don't even really get it right. Does that make sense? What I'm saying, like nobody gets it right. You almost just get lucky of sorts. I mean, well, let me say, I feel like the first round guys are the hard ones to get right. I feel like people get the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round guys.
But here's the deal: if you look at the really good teams out there,
mm-hmm.
they get the draft right. The Green Bay Packers are good every year. They draft well. Yeah.
And the Eagles, shout out to them. They draft well too. Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens,
2nd round.
The Baltimore Ravens historically draft well. And then you have teams like the Bears that don't.
But how are you feeling? I mean, this offseason?
I think we've won for at least the 2nd straight offseason. Possibly no 3rd because of the DJ Moore, the trade. We won the off. I think we won the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Now that just has to translate on the field at some point, and hopefully this is the year. But
hopefully, man.
The Bears went out during free agency, and like I said, the offseason's not over yet. We still got the draft to go, but the Bears went out during free agency, and they got what they need. They got a center, they got a defensive tackle, they got 2 guards, they got an edge rusher. Everything they needed, they got in free agency.
Now you gotta go ahead. Go ahead and play.
Yeah, that's it. So
it's
got to get right in free. On the field.
Hopefully, there are no Bears therapy sessions for you next season. You know,
there always will be.
Well, no, but I'm saying now, when we started like week 7, we was like, call a psychiatrist. No more with this. You might need a check-in every once in a while, but that was like, yeah, just go ahead and lay on the couch phrasing, and you know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and let them know how you feeling, man.
No, I feel pretty good about this. The Bears got a tough schedule though, if you look at it. So
Yeah.
I said last year the Bears would win 12 games, and I almost up until the Hail Mary against Washington, I was on the right track, and then the season just
Yeah, that broke
went
them.
down the drain after
That
that.
broke them. That
Yeah.
broke them. That broke them, man.
But
Well,
this year
I know
I got 10 wins this year. That's what I'm predicting.
and I know
10
you don't
wins.
like talking about the Bulls. I think I told you I went to the game last week, and these
No, you
fools,
didn't. No.
they keep winning. I'm like, hey, stop! You're
They
trying to get
might
Cooper
mess
Flag,
around.
man.
They might mess around and get the 8th spot,
It's
man.
like what you guys are ridiculous. What is
Which doesn't make
happening, man?
sense. Yeah, yeah.
Come on,
But
man. Listen,
they're playing some good ball. You gotta give it to Billy Donovan for
yeah.
getting these guys,
I
to buy
mean,
in.
and
You gotta give them
shout out
that.
to the inappropriate colleagues. I jokingly on a text thread I called the playing the Chicago Bulls Invitational. I think we've been in it every year, 10 C's. It's like
I
it's
think
what we do.
we feel like, man, the Bulls feel like the play in is just like, you know, the
It's
playoffs.
the goal. I
It's
don't.
the goal of the season. Every other team thinks it's a joke.
But you got it. Well, I think. But for example, like when Miami got into the user play in and get into the playoffs and got to the
And got to the
finals.
fight. That did
So
happen.
it's like, whoa. So just kind of like the tournament,
That's
right?
not
That
happening
we're
with the
watching right
Bulls
now.
though.
No, the Bulls are never gonna. And they were like, we remember they were like, we could have made the finals. And listen, man, y'all
No.
was gonna get smacked.
Okay.
Like that was all. That was all land.
Let's say this year the Bulls get to the play in and they win. They win the play in, right? And they get the 8th seed.
They just getting these 2 games at home. That's it. They gonna get beat. They
They
gonna
gonna
get
get
swept.
just
I mean, like
demolished by Cleveland.
point differential will be like they already beat people by 15 points a game on average. They gonna kill the Bulls by 30. It's gonna be all kind of graphics just
So
to not get Cooper Flag. Get out of here, man.
what's the point of that? I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know.
I feel like in the NBA you got to commit to losing pretty early. Like let's just go ahead and bottom out. Like I think in the NFL it feels like it's being a good team. I'm sure everybody wants to win a Super Bowl, but people know how hard that is. If you are a team that is consistently winning, like with the Steelers, right? They always have a winning record. They get to the playoffs and they lose. But guess what? They still waving them them yellow towels out there, right? And they love the Steelers. But I feel like in the NBA, it's like, man, we just getting beat it just feels different. Like, can we get a little further every once in a while? You know what I'm saying? It's just
Well, I
hard,
think
man.
the NFL is different in that you don't necessarily have to bottom out in order to become good.
Okay.
That makes sense. In the NBA, you got to find
You
a
have to
superstar.
actually. Yeah. And usually that's
You
the
got
draft
to
is
have
best
a
way.
superstar. And the best way to do that is early, picking early in the draft. Sometimes you luck up. The Bulls drafted Jimmy Butler, who I guess what you would say is a star. The Bulls
And he was
drafted him in the
becoming one. He was becoming
but
one
they
on the
drafted him in the
Bulls.
20s though, and then he rose. That doesn't happen very often.
No.
So you have to bottom out in order to become a player in the league. And yeah, that's I guess that's tough. I think the Bulls, honestly, the entire organization is just happy with putting a good product out there for their
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah, because they're gonna win.
Every night you go
Might
to the
get a
United
win.
Center, you
Might get a
might get a
win.
win.
Yeah.
You may get a competitive game.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You're gonna get some highlight plays, and you're gonna be happy with the product that you saw, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily correlate into championship basketball.
No, man. That Derrick Rose era feels like forever ago. I mean, it legit was forever ago. When he got drafted and he was in the 08 draft, he was number 1, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's 17 years ago, dog. That's
crazy.
That was forever ago, man. And that was a time. That was like, okay, we got us another one. Oh no.
That's why I talk about bottoming. Well, the Bulls didn't necessarily bottom out, but they won the lottery.
And I feel like if the Bull, okay, I know we're doing a lot of sporting. Make sure you check out the Easy Smoker GM podcast for more sports.
Look, I'm getting this out for this week.
Yeah,
that's
and
all.
it's like I'm helping you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing any better. So, as we got a pretty jam-packed episode, but I want to tell you this. I went to Baltimore for work over the weekend, man, and I was telling you, man, like it's weird being a pod. We've done 200 plus episodes, so it's like I'm always potting. I'm always taking notes of stuff that I see. So traveling, this is my quick travails in Baltimore. So I'm in the airport. You know, you may want to edit this out. I don't know. We got the security. We got the security, and then I'm out, and I look behind me. I see a TSA got this guy. Black and brown people. I was like, see, Trump's America. They just stopping him just because he's a person of color. But I kept looking because I'm tying my shoe. They got through the X-ray machine. He had a small suitcase, and I'm like, see, I'm gonna watch just to make sure they don't do no crimes because and Elon Musk is America. We got to watch out for each other. Understand? But as they opened my man basket, and he had a cooler in there, very small cooler, and they took out, and that's all that was in there. I was like, that's all that's in that basket. Then he opened the cooler, and there was some liquid in some weird container that they poured out. So then I was like, oh, do y'all need me to follow him to his to his gate and find his people? Because I don't know what was in that thing. Hey, why don't y'all detain this dude until y'all figure out what this liquor was? I was like, that looks strange, man. So I was like, hey,
Wait,
hey,
where did they pour it out?
In some garbage can upstairs. It was the weirdest thing. Legit, it was a cooler, and I went, hold on. Y'all need more assistance? Y'all need to come on people. Hey, he needs y'all help over here. They need more people with this dude here. It's crazy, man. Nuts. But
What color was it?
Hey man, listen. Once I saw the cooler, I blacked out. I was like, okay, all right. All units report. Gotta protect America. America first. This is crazy.
Well, at least they got rid of it.
They did. I mean, it was cool. He got.
They did the job. Yeah, that's cool.
It was like, good job, folks.
Yeah.
But then you get off the plane. We talk about this every time. I forgot where you stand on this. When the plane stops, right? We were debating this, some of my coworkers and I. Do you stand up when the plane stops before when the plane gets to the gate?
No, you don't stand up.
And that's what I said. But some people on the flight with my friends, with coworkers, are like, they stand up to save your space. I was like, for who?
No.
For what?
So now you're creating all these people just around you for no reason because you're not getting off the plane anytime soon, right?
No time soon. And
so
I
you should probably don't get up until like it's 4 rows ahead of you.
I've timed it. Well, generally speaking, it's not like it's this 20-minute thing. It's probably, but they get you off the plane relatively quickly to what we think is happening. You know what I'm saying? Like once they kind of pop the door open, once that first, it be the people who not paying attention. It's like, pay attention. Know that, to your point, you're watching ahead of you versus, you're not on the phone looking in the bag. You looking, no. If you are paying attention, okay, you get ready. Get your coat on, got your bag just right. I get up, I walk, I hold this carry on here, I snatch the bag, and I just walk out. I'm gone. Now, I think worse than people stand up are the people who are messing around, hold up the line. I'm sorry, excuse me. No. I don't accept your apology. Move out the way. And it's like people still missing flights. They still getting out of there. It's like you're not going to make this line move any faster by standing up. It does not make any sense.
Yeah, I can't stand those people. Sit your ass down.
So, stay at the hotel, man. Went to visit this lounge called the Bygone Lounge in Baltimore. Shout out to them, man, because it was
Bygone.
It's pretty dope. Right. And so they got this picture window. So we chilling the coworkers. I said, this is a lion window. They said, what y'all mean? I said, look at it. It was like, you see the Baltimore Harbor. See all these boats. I said, yeah, oh yeah, do start a line. They said, look, baby, I can buy it. You see all this? I own this. I'm a minority owner of the Ravens. You see, that's how dope it was. To start a line. I can buy you 6 boats, baby. How many you need? One? You want one? Just one? Like, hey, you can't bring nobody here. You be lying about everything. Yes, I got a rocket ship. Elon's my friend. Can't come here and have a couple beverages, man. But got to hang around in Baltimore. It was a quick trip.
You get some crab while you were there? Or?
No, but had some shrimp, had some seafood, had some Italian food. That was pretty good, man. Nice, good trip. But you hear about Baltimore and everybody think you're about to walk into the wire.
The wire, yeah, absolutely.
Do see it. But I mean, every city got its hood, and every city got its good, man. And not to say the people in the hood ain't good, right? It's just it is stark difference of like, oh, this is where the city don't, stuff don't extend out to here. You know what I'm saying? It's like you turn the corner. I was in an Uber my man was, we talking blah blah blah, and he make a left, and I was like, oh, okay, we not where I was. We're not by the hotels anymore. We are in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? And then, but it was cool. People still, but that's what I always appreciate. Like the people just walking around, trying to get to point A to point B, taking care of themselves. Like in Chicago, people here from Chicago, they think we got bulletproof vests on all the time
Yeah.
when we go when we go on outside. They think all when we get to the door, we gotta do gang signals.
Aren't you afraid to go around
It's like, bro,
the
wait,
city?
what? It's like, huh? We play
No,
outside, man. No,
it's all right.
yeah, we drive home just like you do, man. And I think that's like with any city, like you just know your city, right? I think even in Chicago, you kind of can. It's weird. You can sense the trouble. You're like, yeah, let's not go down the street. Or you know what? Let's just go and get up out of here. This ain't feeling right. You gotta trust that feeling. Every time I didn't trust it, heard them shots ring out. Shot the club. Not secrets. Where did Chris work? Wait, what was the
Allure,
club?
allure,
Allure. Shout out
allure.
to Club Allure. I remember coming out there one birthday. I'm like, yeah, it's my birthday. Pop, pop, pop. And where's the car? Where's the car? I'm just trying to make it to another one, dog.
Oh
No,
man,
Baltimore was a good time, man, because I got to see again the pretty side of it near the Harbor Point. So they got all the bricks from the, like, I guess when it was first laid out there in Baltimore, man. So it was a good time. It was a really, really good time. I definitely will go back and probably got to go back, but definitely will go back and check it out a little bit more. That especially that area I saw with that was nice. Just because we weren't there long, but I think I think Baltimore I would want to go visit back. The DMV I always love the DMV, man. Did you ever get a chance to hang out a lot in Baltimore? Because I know it's pretty far from Virginia.
I went one time and it was for a class.
What?
We took a tour. I took a sport facility class,
Mhm.
and so we took a tour of the. We went to DC and Baltimore. Took a tour of the Orioles Stadium, Camden Yard. Took a tour of the Ravens Stadium. Um, we went to the University of Maryland, toured their football stadium and their basketball stadium, and then we capped off the night. We went to Washington and caught a Washington at the. It would have been they were the Wizards then, a Wizards game. So
Mhm.
took a tour of the Wizards stadium and then saw a Wizards game that night.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was. You know what? You know what day it was? It was the day after Bush Gore
Oh, wow.
2000. Yeah, yeah.
That was something.
So
Well,
we were in DC that night for election night.
man. Well,
Yeah.
speaking of DC, that's a great segue, man, because we always have, as we say often, we usually hit for the jokes on the Super Duper Pod, but every time we got to get a little serious because as you and I saw a story about the erasing the history of Jackie Robinson, more so erasing his military history. So if you don't know, Jackie Robinson was in the Army, I think, right?
He was
And so
he was a second lieutenant in the army.
right. And they were doing some kind of campaign or sports heroes who were sports war heroes. And they didn't include Jackie Robinson. And that as we see all this stuff happen in America with our two presidents, Musk and Trump, I'm gonna stop saying that. They're gonna catch me one day that the pot ain't gonna work. It's like, hey, how
But
come
it's
they
true
turn it
though.
on? How
It's
come they
true.
turn it on? But I did I lie though? Nope, didn't
Nope.
lie. Um, but it was wild as they pumped up the story of somebody else playing on the team who kind of was supporting Jackie, like diminishing what he did, but pumping up with some other guy who was just probably on the team, who he probably on purpose didn't call him an N-word to his face, but they still called him one. You know what I'm saying? And so it got me thinking because Jackie Robinson isn't a loved American figure. You know what I'm saying? He's a black. Yes, he broke racial barrier, but at this point,
No,
like
he's American
he's an
history.
American history. He's an
He's an
American
American hero.
hero.
Yeah.
You know, and so for that to come from it's when it became like, you know what, man, this stuff is getting out of hand. Well, it's already out of hand, but this is what I want people to see. This isn't just like wild rhetoric on TV, man. This stuff seeps into it because if you talk about it all the time, I say it all the time. I took the innovation class, shout out to Notre Dame, and they talked about sirens. It's like you hear small stories that seem throwaway, right? Until it's true 2 years later. You got to pay attention to those. Those are sirens. And I feel like this is a siren because it was almost like a test, as that they took it down. People say, hey, and they put it back. Like, oh, yeah, we love Jackie Robinson. Almost to see what would people do?
Yeah.
What would people say, right? And I ain't gonna lie. I started buying a lot of black books. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just because it's like let me put all my stuff together because as the truth is this, we have to maintain our stories and our history. And we have to tell our children these stories. And I think about it often, like how often are we telling, like when my dad and my mom talked a lot about growing up in Tennessee, like seeing, like they would tell me stories about they see people before James Brown for $1 at the Regal, and seeing Marvin Gaye, but just like what Chicago meant, their travel from Tennessee, Mississippi up here, what happened. You see what I'm saying? And it's like I know our lives are different, but I feel like they just told me more. And I thought about, do I tell my children enough? Because at this rate, if these people have their way, they will whitewash the story. Like they're trying to. You look up the 1619 book, and you'll see. Have you seen the pretty much the argument against the book? Pretty much, they're saying none of this is factual. Slavery wasn't as bad as you made out to be, and you shouldn't make white people feel bad about what's happened with slavery. So the 1619 is pretty much should not be discussed. There's a book somebody wrote that literally is supposed to go against it, and it's like somebody spent all their time to write against a book to saying it's pretty much saying slavery wasn't that bad. It didn't happen that as what you think. We shouldn't still be. You guys are still impacted by this. Look at all these black people who've done so well. It's ridiculous,
Come on, man.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And it's like that's what's happening. And if these people have their way, we'll get away from slavery being as bad as it is, right? Some these white people helped Jackie Robinson get along the way. Now, let's not say some didn't, because some definitely did, right? Ray Branch Rickey is the one who put him in on the team, but still, it's probably harder than we even realize and understand. You know what I'm saying? It's like we've seen the movies, we read the stories, but I'm sure that because the word is Jackie Robinson was ready to kill somebody every day.
Yeah, just
You
think
know what I'm
about
saying?
going into all these cities that were segregated,
Right.
and he couldn't stay with the team. He had to find residence, at some person's house.
Sure.
He couldn't stay at a hotel. Racist players of the opposing team. Heck, racist players on his own team
On his own team, man. And people
that he
always
had to
say,
deal
well,
with every day.
and people are like, if I was there, you wouldn't done nothing. But what Jackie Robinson did, and I mean, again, he wanted to fight, wanted to kill somebody, but what he had to do, play ball. And now you see, like that barrier is not just for black people, like for all people. Look at all these Japanese players right on the team, like that correlates to Jackie Robinson. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we're opening up the game to other people, and now look at the game. It literally is. The Cubs are getting smacked in Japan, but
The Dodgers are a super team, though.
so shout out to the
Not that I'm
Dodgers.
defending the Cubs by any means.
Mm-hmm. But this also got me thinking is like we as a people have underestimated the power of the presidency and like what it really entails, right? And I know you and I have had a discussion of would you rather be president or would you rather be mayor? I chose mayor. I changed that vote just because I see what the mayor, I'm cool on that anymore. But I was listening to a podcast called The Town, and they were talking about pretty much a lot of businesses in Hollywood kind of voted for Trump or supported Trump. Because remember, he made like people like Hollywood czars and all that kind of stuff because they thought he would be better for business. But now they're like, Trump is, he's affecting the FCC. He's trying to do all these different changes that's affecting these tariffs are affecting. So the tariffs, which are going to affect costs for businesses, and most businesses, when stuff gets tight, they cut their marketing advertising budgets. A lot of these media companies, they live off of, you guessed it, advertising. So it's like, and he adversely is affecting all these businesses, right? Just from these decisions that seem flippant. And so that's why, when we make these votes and people make these silly comments on Facebook, like, people be trying to be like Thanos, just contrarian for a reason. Well, maybe he is right. Maybe we should hey, shut up, because you don't walk this thing all the way through. Like the implications of what this will be, what businesses will fail, right? Now, there are some things that do need to be dismantled, but dismantled with care, right? Dismantled with thought. Like you're not just in this office just to break a thing down just because.
Right.
Like there should be a plan for it, because once you leave or get kicked out, now we have to deal with your system. And I was saying this to some people. It's different than when, there's a Republican in office, and maybe if you're a Republican and Democrat in office, you're like, I don't like this person's policies, but still the system remained, right? Education, health, the system itself. Now maybe things around it changed, but the system, as we all agreed upon, was still operating. It feels like now they are dismantling systems, right? Now, and what I wonder is, like, then when they break these systems, how will we recover from said systems? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, if they break this healthcare system, like, what's it gonna look like? If they get their way with education, what they gonna look like? And I listen to the Native Land Pod a lot. Shout out to Angela Rye, Tiffany Cross, and Andrew Gillum, who are the hosts of the show. And I've mentioned them a few times. I really encourage everybody to go check out those podcasts. Because what they do is give you the insight into the politics of it all, and also what we can do. And something that Angela Ross said that really stuck with me, that made me really question how I look at things is, we don't exercise our power. Is what she's saying. We as people, and she mentioned Black people specifically, don't exercise our power over the politicians, right? And she was like, so when Schumer, and I know I was looking at Chuck Schumer like this. Okay, sidebar. Now, Schumer didn't want to shut down the government, so he went with votes. Like, dummy, that's they would have done this to you. They would have lit the government on fire and let it burn until they got what they wanted. And you went ahead and gave my man the votes. This is like, you had him. You know what I'm saying? You got him. Go ahead. Oh boy, come on, Ed.
Okay, all right.
Come on, Israel.
I don't know.
Okay.
So what happens if he does, shut down the government then?
Well, this what my man McConnell did. See, here's the thing. This is one instance where you have to do opposite land, because in some
Okay,
cases,
but
hold
here's the
on, no,
deal.
so in some cases the Republicans are doing this because they know the Democrats what they will do. It's like they know you're going to bend. This is your whole party ethos, so we can just say what we want to say, and you're going to bend to what we do. But go ahead.
When McConnell shut down the government, he had the votes though, right? He was the majority leader, right?
I'm not sure. I don't recall.
Or wait.
I don't think he did. I mean, I think he's doing what he pretty much, it's the same situation, but reversed.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? My point is this. If at every turn it's felt like this administration has gotten to do whatever they want to do, right? Now, here's a point, and everybody's agreed this stuff is wild. Even Schumer was on something later, like, the country's being thrown in a basket and put in fire. Well, bro, what are we going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? But I made all that point, not necessarily to debate that point, but this is the point I'm trying to make, that Angela Rye made. I get people within calling Chuck Schumer's office like, we disagree with what you did. We need a meeting with you. He had a book tour, and he canceled the tour because he didn't want to see the people. And her point was, as voters, right, you can call your elected official, and in some cases they are obligated to meet with you or speak with you, especially if you get a group of people to say, this is our issue. And they started having conversations about issue voters, like what's the thing, because people ask, what do we meet about, and they were saying, well, whatever issues that matter to you. Like, as this stuff trickles down, this education fund is going to affect children with special needs and with autism, right? Because some of this funding gonna get weird at some point. It's just how it's gonna shake. That's gonna be my issue, right? We have to figure out what's the issue that you have, that you can say, hey, Mr. or Miss So-and-so, this is my issue. About when she said it, it's something else. And let me ask you, how do you feel? Like, it's never crossed my mind to call the representative about something. I feel like it's calling the police, it feels snitching or something. Like, it's like, hey, what you gonna do? And on one hand, just being honest, it maybe feels like they won't even listen to you, or you'll never get through, right? But the way she was saying, it's like, no, you call enough, they gotta return your call, because you can say, I called so and so, they didn't get back to me, right? We forget the power that the people have. Because she was saying also as well, if you get people in your house, 20, 30 people, and say you want to have a meeting with whoever, in some instances they have to at least have a representative come in acknowledge your request, because that becomes the thing. So then it becomes about what do you want to organize around. That's what I challenge people to think about. Like everybody got their own personal issue. I think, and it was weird. It was Black people. We vote as a collective because it's not enough of us to do the single issue voter thing. Like we kind of got to vote together to a degree, right? But I think that's something we think about. But how do you feel about? Have you ever contacted a even an alderman? I've never even reached out to an alderman. It's unless I needed something
I
to
mean,
sign.
about I was gonna say personal stuff,
Yeah.
not necessarily about
Like a larger
a
issue.
large issue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you got
it's
to get this
usually
garbage can out.
something's going on the block here.
Yeah,
We need to clean this up.
yeah. But I
So
like
yeah,
this. But
I
yeah, but
can't
I
say
like
that I have done that.
right, and it's like but we vote them in, right? And I think
Yeah,
that might be the trick that is getting pulled on us. That they know we know that we won't do it, but now there's certain groups of people that call and they get stuff done and they make stuff. Because I mean, as you notice in Chicago, there's some neighborhoods you just know stuff won't be allowed. The people ain't gonna let that happen. They're gonna get on the phone fast with whoever, and whoever knows is not just that person calling; it's the neighborhood of people. It's the
I was
group
gonna
of
say,
people that's made that
so
call.
do you think that works? Have you seen like they'll run politicians will run ads or um I don't know, lobbyists will run ads. Hey, call your congressman about such and such issue.
Yeah,
Do you think that makes a difference?
I think so. But again, the congressmen are like, they ain't calling me because they don't care. They run it because like even with like a business license, people don't even know this. Every time somebody gets a business license, by law, you have to put something in a newspaper that says, "I'm opening my business here." And by law, you have to put a sign on the new location so people have the opportunity to write in and say, "I object to this license being issued." Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, it's like so. If there's a light, if there's a, I think it's within 500 feet. I think it's right, 500 feet of your home. See, there was a business being opened, a mini amusement park. Just follow me, right? Is being opened 500 feet within your home. They have to put a notice saying you have the right to submit a rejection of this license by this date. But most people don't, right? Now, in some neighborhoods, everybody sends in an objection. It'd be like stacks of objections. In some neighborhood, it'd be one. It'd be like, I got a cat. I don't want to scare my cat. And it'd be like they throw it out because you know what I'm saying.
One
But
person.
to the point you're making, I think so it just becomes down to what do we care about? Because people should call, but we can't never get on the same page to say we will all call about this. And so maybe that's what it starts to become. What's the issue that we agree on enough to say we're all calling on it over these 3 days? We're going to call each person 4 times each day. You see what I'm saying? You get 30 people to do that. This like they're gonna be like, okay, can we stop calling? You know what I'm saying? What I will meet with y'all. I think that's how the game goes. But unfortunately, you never even heard of that happening. I've never heard of that happening in my life. I've never heard of a group of people getting together. Outside of it being a large or big issue, or there's some group that does it, and and I think that's the bigger point. We leave all the civic work for other people to do. Well, we can do it. You know what I'm saying? We can do it. Just gotta, but it has to be like, what's the thing that's going to make you do it enough? And it has to be bigger than you and your house. We talk about the church a lot. Just you gotta do stuff that's bigger than you. You know what I mean? Because you can see your point. Yeah, you calling this your block. I had to get something from Brooklyn, like on the block, and it's like, hey, I walked. Hey, I need this done. And guess what he told me? You can't do it here. You got to go to City Hall. Thanks for nothing. That's why I don't come here. that's the main thing. But I mean, even as I'm talking about out loud, man, like, because Dick Durbin, I think he voted yes
Yeah.
for this bill.
He was
Yeah,
one of the 10
and it's like,
Democrats
whoa,
that
whoa.
voted
I was
for
like,
it.
whoa, Dick Durbin, hold on, man. You know, I was like, should I give him a call? But it's like, if it's just me, Rob Griggs calling, it's like, oh, ignore him. Let's get his podcast banned. He'll be fine. But if it's 10 of us, it's a little different, Just something to think about.
I just don't know what a government shutdown would have looked like.
Well, we've
You
had a
know.
government shutdown, Ed. That's what I'm saying. We've
What's
had
that?
one. We've had one. Republicans shut us down before. We've had one. We've
Okay, but
had one.
how long did it last?
But that's the point I'm making.
And at the time, like I said, I might be wrong, but I think the Republicans had the Senate. They had the votes, right? But I think the Democrats had the House, and I think at the time, um,
no, oh, you mean you talking about the other shutdown?
yeah, the last shutdown.
Well, see, but here's the thing. With this one, they needed the 60 votes, right? We know this.
Right.
And if Schumer's like, I'm not giving you the votes until you give me, because here's the thing. Because Donald Trump kept saying, he put him in. I guess maybe personally, I don't like being put in the corner. I don't like ultimatums. Like that's just a personal thing. If you tell me you do this, or I'm definitely gonna do this because I do not like you're not gonna put me in a corner. And I feel like Trump was like, "Oh, y'all just gonna tell your people that you let the government shut down?"
But
So
they
so so you playing us. You're literally playing us.
but
Suckers.
the numbers are saying the Democrats are not in a good place right now
But guess what,
when
Ed?
it comes to the polls.
They already bad. So you might as well try something new. You know what I mean? That's just again, I might as well try
All right,
something different. This ain't working. It's
all
not
right.
working. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like this is a good conversation to have. I think the problem has become the Democratic Party has been the party of just this. No other thoughts, like no other tactic to think about it. You just gotta throw some other stuff on the wall. Like you have to ask yourself, okay, what if we did shut the government down? What would really happen? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, all Americans would lose their benefits
mhm.
during the shutdown.
But as
People are losing.
and let me be clear,
More
I'm not
people
I'm not
will
advocating
lose their
for a
jobs
shutdown.
at that point.
I'm
No,
with you.
that's what it is. I mean, you gotta think about that.
No, 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 no. And you're not wrong. But the other part of it is this. You can't be put over a barrel and made to do this. Like this somebody was like, you gonna do they doing whatever they want, illegally up, down street. Don't like Musk should not be nowhere near right this stuff. And they've already been affecting things across the board. At some point, you have a leverage card and you have to use it. And I'm not saying because the threat of the shutdown would if he would have been like, we're not doing this till y'all give us XYZ or something, like something because they don't want to shut down either. To your point,
Okay, but I don't even know if they. I don't think the Democrats have a leader right now that can even give us what those parameters would be. You
and
know,
that's a bigger issue and a bigger problem there, man. And that's probably why I might have to come from the people.
what are we gonna get for it?
I
What
don't.
do we want right now?
Well, back to my point we were making earlier. Like, if we could call them, but what we call them for? You know what I'm saying, man? We haven't even. So I think so. Maybe that's something
We can't.
as everyone's listening.
And I get what the argument is. Okay, we could get at least something, but
But what's the something?
we don't have the votes right now.
Yeah, man. I think it's just that I understand it's a tough situation. But I feel like at some point there has to be some pushback, even if it's like we're not giving you these votes today. We ever talk about something because it's pretty much just like we do whatever we want. We never do whatever we want to do. There's ain't no discussion, ain't no conversation. We doing it, and you got to sign here. No, I don't. Like for example, me and you got to go somewhere. We got to be there by a certain time, or we'll get charged. And I'm like, I don't want to X Y. I don't want to take this, but to say the car's in my name, we got to go. Rob, I'm driving because and I go, I'm not going. At some point, you gonna have to have some kind of concession with me. It's like, okay, we'll do this. Fine. Something. You know what I mean? It's just if I just keep rolling, the stuff never changes. And I think that's the larger point. And I think even to the other part of just people in general. Like truly, I think about the causes that matter to you and that matters to your group of people and really consider like calling your elected officials and saying, we need to talk about this, like I'm sure if you sat down and thought about all the stuff that bothers your neighborhood, the high schools and the chipmunks getting ready to go to high school, like, you got to, it's a whole madhouse trying to find a high school all over the
Hmm.
place that fits you. And I got to do it times three, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I'm sure there's other parents got the same deal. You got to everybody scrambling, testing here and there, and what have you. It's like shouldn't just be your high school's up the street is up to snuff, and you can go get it. You know what I mean? That could be an
In a
issue that
perfect
a bunch of parents
in a
could
perfect
talk
world, it
about,
should
right?
be.
Yeah, should be that way, but
Yeah.
it's not, right?
Yeah.
It's not. So, just again, guys, be vigilant, be diligent, and think about the stuff that matters to you and your community and, your neighborhood even. Just get them together, call your alderman, watch. They can be like, so local podcast host Robert Grigg has been banned because people are now calling the mayor at his behest. So, whoa, not what I said. But if it works,
No, why not? No, that's what you're saying.
yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And
Call them.
so, as you sent me an article though about the Ohio University Black Community again, I'll let you just share a little bit about it.
Yeah, so basically, because of the DEI reforms of this administration,
Mhm.
Ohio University has banned the Black Alumni Reunion Weekend because I guess
It's
it's sort
considered
of
divisive.
a divisive DEI program or weekend, and we can't have diversity on campus.
That's great. They're gonna ban Asian American month. They're gonna ban Italian month. I mean, seriously, like for real. They're gonna ban.
That's wild, man. Now I'm gonna ask you. Now I didn't go to a predominantly white
Sure.
college, so I can't really I don't really have an experience with that.
Yeah.
But
So
what is it like on a PWI? Um, having I noticed when I would visit, I always saw a Black Student Union. There was always, wherever I went, pretty much all the Black students congregated together.
mm,
So just tell me what your experiences
they got
were
you.
on the
Yeah.
campus and situations like this.
So when I was a junior, you could become what's called a JA. It was a pretty big deal to become a JA. It was only 50 spots. That means you and another person were pretty much the big brother with a mom and dad of freshmen. So it's not a lot of black people at JAs. It's just for a bunch of reasons. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they don't allow black people. Just sometimes black people don't, because you don't feel like I love this. The school has done enough for me to give up my year to live with some freshmen, blah, blah, blah. I became a JA, right? I had to get nominated. It's a whole big deal. And in the process, two things happened. One, my partner, shout out to Roshni, she and I were the first JA pairings, because usually it's a man and a woman. We were the first JA pairings where we had two people of color, right? That were JAs. Usually it's like if you got a black person and a white person, and they told us, I got to split up the world. They said it. You guys should split up and say, no, they can see a black, two people here that, are not white, but are
Wait,
the
this
JAs.
is in the history of the school?
Well, I don't know if in the history of school, but they were saying it was like that's something that had happened often. Like I don't want to say I don't know, I don't want to say I was a Black History Month, but I remember vividly they were like, y'all gotta split it up. I remember that vividly.
Okay.
But now we're doing this training, and I remember just being like, I was, there wasn't a lot of black kids that were JAs, and wasn't a lot of black people like me who grew up in black neighborhoods, right? There's some black students, but they grew up with white people. And I kept trying to find like my friends who were black, right? And I kept sneaking out because we had JA functions, and they kept going. One day they said, "Rob, why you keep leaving?" I said, "Well, listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. This is the white counterparts. I don't always feel comfortable here with this group, not because you guys are mean to me, not because you guys are trying to do something different to me, but everything you talk about, I don't even understand. You guys are talking about movies and songs, and you guys are telling jokes. I just don't get." And I feel like I stand out completely because I have no idea what you're talking about. And it makes me feel at times it makes me feel less than, because I feel like I'm not on the inside of this world and I gotta learn it. But when I meet up with when I meet up with my friends who happen to be black, it reminds me that I do fit here. It's just different than what's there. That there's a place for me. So to answer your question about PWI, is like these black student unions, these black events remind you that you do fit at this place, and there's other people like you who had the same struggles, who came, who maybe had the same thoughts, but you all found a connection to then make yourselves fit into these places. Like these unions, these weekends are actually a celebration of the school, right? We're saying this collective of people who we know initially didn't accept what a lot of us here, and it wasn't necessarily a lot of program services for us here. You made a place for us here that made us appreciate the rest of the school. So then when you take away that kind of a weekend, that's saying you guys and your group and your struggle actually wasn't that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? Because that's almost like you can fit in with everybody else. It's just not the truth. It's just not the case. Like I'm sure you heard a lot about black kids sitting at the same table
Mm-hmm.
in cafeterias, and and the whole thing. We would turn around and say, well, you know, it's a lot of white kids sitting together at other tables. It just happens to be less of us, and you notice us. That's
Right.
it. But if you looked at every other table, it's probably full of white kids. So we're just sitting with who we know, right? And so I say this often, like at a PWI, I'm constantly talking about being black and what it means, and in comparison to being white, and you answering questions for people who never knew black people, and they got every question they ever had they want to ask you, and you like, I don't know what they do in California. I'm from Chicago, man, but I felt, I should say, an obligation to still answer, because I said, if nothing else, I might be the most significant experience they have with a black person, and I want to make sure they leave with here an impression of, you know, whatever I thought about a black person is incorrect because I met Rob. You know what I'm saying? Like the preconceived notion that I got from my parents, my neighborhood, that's not the people I met when I went to XYZ College, shout out to Williams College. Right. So I want to make sure, got to get us on YouTube to see that one. But that's the biggest thing. So when you sent me that article, man, that was just heartbreaking, because, and I will say, even though Williams doesn't have a black alumni reunion weekend, that's a whole different conversation. It's just a different type of, the black, they actually, I'll take that back. They have one. It just doesn't happen on the campus. They have like a whole different event somewhere else. But that's like them telling them they had to stop that event altogether as well, which they would not do. They burn that place down. So I think it's just disheartening that, again, these sirens, as you gotta
So
watch
I think
and
that's
pay
what I'm
attention
getting
to
at.
small things.
What you said makes total sense.
Yeah.
Why don't these schools then just fight back then
Well, so
off of these initiatives?
everybody shook. It's crazy. It's like, what? Okay, I get that. I think the whole thing that, because the our second our co-president Trump, because he can't be so vile and be so like, I'll get you back, that people are like, I don't even want to be in his crosshairs. And it's kind of like, so that's what y'all do. Y'all gonna fold for him? He not gonna be there long. You know what I'm saying? He not gonna be there forever. You have a whole
We don't
institution
think.
of people. Well, we hope not. We don't know what they put in
Yeah.
laws. This is
Right.
2025.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? So I think people just wanna, they don't, because especially with funding getting cut, they want to make sure their school is off the list. You know what I'm saying? And who knows what Ohio University alumni is in the this administration's camp that's like, nah. I hated this weekend forever. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta stop. You know what I'm saying? Who knows, man? And I think that's what most of this stuff is. Now, shout out to all the people and companies that have been like, no, even with the DEI stuff, this is what we do. We are not changing our rules.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying, as we go along, man. But that was disheartening to read. I know that.
Resist.
Yeah,
Alumni, current students, everyone needs to, give their opinion on this and make
and
this
that's
an
what
issue.
happens. And that's what happens though when people roll over. That's kind of, I mean, I know, again, we had a discussion about the vote, but it's like at some point you have to resist. Like even if it's against your own self-interest. Like sometimes you gotta be like, I know this will affect me negatively, but if we continue to go down this right, it'll become the norm. You know what I'm saying? It will just be, we'll forget why we doing this. We just know we do this. It don't feel great, but we do, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, alumni weekend hasn't happened in 3 years. Then they'll just figure something else out to do, and then that's that. Instead of it being, no, we're gonna fight the school or stand up or sit in. Who knows, right? I think that's what has to happen. But I feel like those are necessary weekends, and that's the pride for school. Like I do know someone I think Rebecca went to Ohio University. No, she went to a different one. I'm bad, Rebecca. But I think that's, again, all the things we talked about on the pod, all these sirens of what's to come. These are small tests, as these are small litmus tests, seeing how we will react and respond. And we should react and respond accordingly, right? I mean, we have to resist. That might be the title of the pod, man. I'm gonna get Dr. Williams on to talk about resist. We have to resist. I'm sure he has some rhetoric around that, because that's just what's needed. Because that's how it feels, is. It's just, we hear someone on the news, he wants to do this, and guess what? It happens. In 2-3 weeks, everybody's like, oh no, this is pretty bad. But nobody stands up enough to say, no, it's going to stop here. And maybe sometimes we feel like we can't do it. We can't say it or we can't do it. But at some point, we're going to have to, or we are then complicit in what happens after that. So that's that. Right. Man, I had an article to talk about Diddy, but I feel like we talked about some more serious stuff. We can leave that Diddy. We'll say the Diddy article for next week, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But as I think that's everything. Oh, I do have it in the 90s before we get out of here, man.
I'm born into the 90s. Make it feel good. Come on, yeah. Make it feel good.
This week's in the 90s. So sidebar, Sarah, I know you listen, so because you got to listen to the pod. We should tag Crush Soda in our segments because I'm always talking about my crush here. And today in the 90s, talking about one of my biggest crushes. Shout out to Peach Crush. Is Faith Evans is. Hey, well, don't shake your head to Peach Crush. Peach Crush is amazing, brother.
Wait, I shouldn't be saying that. Wait. You want them on here. I don't like Peach. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
It's nothing against Peach. It's nothing against Crush.
You know what I'm saying?
I just don't like Peach flavor.
Okay, grape Crush. Strawberry Crush.
Grape Crush is great. Orange Crush is the best. Love it.
Okay. It might be Strawberry Crush. Might be the best.
No. It's orange.
Orange Crush is more popular. But Strawberry
Crush.
Good,
because it's the best.
Okay, Sarah, please put a poll online. Shout out to Crush. I think it's strawberry. You say orange. You say orange.
Orange Crush, absolutely.
But I think grape might mess around and win. So Sarah, give us a poll. Orange, grape, strawberry. Put down peach. Put down south. Let's see what wins. Okay, but I guess this is brought to you by Crush. Until they pay us. So by in the 90s. Is my big crush, Faith Evans. I have the biggest crush on Faith Evans, man. I don't know what it is. I'm in love with Faith Evans, man. And in the 90s, she came out with 2 albums that were phenomenal. And so again, Faith Evans is, I guess, considered the first lady of Bad Boy. She was married to Biggie, R.I.P. There was a big beef between her and Lil' Kim, you know what I'm saying, about who he, because I guess he was with both of them. You know what I'm saying? It was a whole big deal. But Faith Evans kind of was like on the Mary J. Blige train in terms of like beats were banging, and again, no shade to Mary J. Blige. She could sing. I mean, she's been a legend. But Faith Evans is a singer. And it was like, whoa, who is this? And I remember she came out with her first album, and it was called Just Keep the Faith. Did I have that right? Yes, the first album with Faith Evans was, look how prepared I am, is so prepared. Here we go. It was Faith. Jeez. That
was a hard album title to remember, man.
God. But the second album was Keep the Faith. That's why I get it mixed up. So the first album of Faith came out in 1995. That's August 29th. That was our junior year? Yes. And then the second one came out, Keep the Faith, 1998.
No, that would have been sophomore year.
No, August 95.
Oh,
that started junior year. All right. And then the second one came out October 27th, 1998. So that was the start of junior year in college. Man, that's why these albums feel so good. Junior years for both grades were great for me, man. No. October 27, 98, because that goes into October 99.
No, that's sophomore year.
That's not. Oh, you're right. You're right.
Sophomore year.
Okay. So then,
it's always sophomore year.
No, because August 95 goes into June.
No, you're right about
that's junior year.
You're right about August.
That was junior year. Yes. The October one I got wrong.
Yes.
So
I was just saying. I keep saying sophomore year. That's all.
Okay, it's fine. Clearly, sophomore year made an impression upon you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean. But
both sophomore years, yeah, it did.
Jeez. So, but Faith, the first record.
Apparently, I left school sophomore year.
They were like, yeah. So, Ez, you wow, you doing good for yourself, Ez. So, the top songs from the first album, Faith, You Used to Love Me, which that's the one she first released. I was like, that's a jam. That's still not to this day. Soon As I Get Home, it's one of my favorite Faith Evans songs. Ain't Nobody and Come Over. So it's like that came out July 95, September 95, October 95, January 96. Sidebar, I miss when like people dropped an album, but they kept releasing tracks like throughout the year. You know what I'm saying? So it was like you got to. Well, sometimes even before the album came out, they just will
Well, you
release
would release you would
tracks.
release a single.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But they
Your
released
single
like
may come out before the album, then the album would drop, and then you release
two
other
or three more
singles
singles.
from that album. Yeah.
But see, I missed the day of the single, and then the one that so they released the single, right? That got you go, oh, that's nice. And they dropped that smash after that one. Then the album comes out. I was like, I got to have this on there, man. But what else? Other songs they had on there is "No Other Loves," one of my jams from there. This was really a great album, man. So people definitely check it out. So now the actual "Keep the Faith" album that has some hits too. "Love Like This," which is that makes me think about college all the time because they used to play that, and I mean, it just got the party going. Oh man, I shout out to Jose, and shout out to Susan, shout out to Nikki, everybody, shout out to Jay. Just that every time I hear it, I think of them. You know what I'm saying? Just dancing in school, all night long. Never gonna let you go. Lately, man. But Faith Evans, I don't think. I mean, I don't know how you feel, is. I don't feel like she gets a lot of flowers in terms of like how impactful she was to like 90s R&B, just female
No,
entertainer, female
she doesn't
R&B
get enough
singer,
credit.
but
No,
she was really amazing, man. So like just truly like
for
I
a 4 or 5 year period, she was definitely on top
Hey man,
of the
and
R&B
I think
charts.
even then people I didn't want to go give her props. It was like, yo, she cold, like she really and the thing to Faith, she could really sing like the record live. I mean, sometimes better live. You know what I'm saying? Like even I don't know how she is lately, but it was
Have you seen her live? I've never seen her live.
well, like on award shows or something, what
Yeah,
she was saying, and they'd be like, man, she killing on this award show. I've never had a chance to see Faith Evans live. That's
yeah.
something. But I mean, I got a lot of Faith Evans. I got most of her records that came out, well, CDs at the time that came out. But and then those were the only two things that came out in the 90s, but was Faith and Keep the
What's
Faith.
what's your favorite Faith Evans track?
Ooh, Lucky Day by Faith Evans. I think that came out in the 2000s, early 2000s, man. I don't know why I love that song. She really singing on there, man. But it's either that or Soon as I Get Home. I
That's
think
a good
just
one.
what yeah, that it's like you.
That's a
She
good one.
just she that one, and then like I said, Love Like This. I think I remember when because it was like Faith came out, the first album came out. I was like, okay, you remember? Okay, she had a nice little budget, videos were cool. But when that second one came out, I love like this. She's in the skate rink, flashy cars, and she got a fly off. It's like, okay, Faith that came up. That album must have sold some records because
Right,
they gave her a
right.
bigger budget now. That's what I think about. So those are my three: Lucky Day, Soon as I Get Home, and Love Like This. Because again, it's just so I was thinking about this is like when we were partying and younger, like, okay, now you walk into if you've been in the club lately or you hear some bits of place they're playing this young people music,
I haven't been there.
it's just trap from the gate, like from the beginning to the end. We used to have like warm-up music, you know what I'm saying? It got you on the dance floor, so like Love Like This by Faith Evans or Dwelle, right? It'll be there, play something by Dwelle, and okay, get two step on, and once they get everybody on the floor, then they drop the stuff that makes that's the Yin Yang Twins. They start popping that on there, something like that, because everybody's dancing by now. So I feel like Faith Evans was like really good music to get you wherever you are, people gonna dance in their seats, get up a little bit, moving and grooving, go grab another beverage, you know what I'm saying? Kind of point at a young lady, my cousin, you do this. that was his move, man. So shout out to Kid. Uh but yeah, man, I said those how about you? You got a favorite Faith Evans song?
Um, her this song wasn't even on an album. It was
Yeah.
on Half Plenty soundtrack. Tears Away.
You love Have Plenty for what you've talked about this movie more
I
than
love that.
twice.
It's a great movie. It's a great independent movie.
You talked about that movie a lot of times, man.
That's a
So
great
like,
movie.
I think I watched it one time and I was cool. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right,
It's a great independent. They spent like I don't
$6.
know. No, they spent more than that. Maybe around 700.
Yeah,
And it was a great plot, great story. You
years
know,
away. I'm about to find that, man. I'm about to find that.
um, they played it in a scene where um, he heads to DC where
I don't remember.
what's the
I
character's
literally have to
name?
watch this movie again. I don't even remember. I don't know who in it. I can see the cover. I can see the people. He Eric Benet looking like dude,
Right,
right?
right, right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I can see the cut like wearing big sweaters, the big sweater up
Yeah,
to the
at the
neck. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I know the
That
whole
was
vibe. Yeah.
man. That was hugely popular in the late '90s. There.
What a time to be alive, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no, Faith Evans Tears Away. If you can't check, it's tough to find. I don't think you can find it on like Apple Music or
mhm.
stream it. I think you actually have to actually find the soundtrack.
Oh
You
wow.
might you could probably find it on
Wi-Fi
YouTube.
soundtrack. Oh, you shout out to YouTube. They got
Yeah,
everything on YouTube,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Oh,
But no,
actually,
great song.
Caramel Kisses on that. That's what I see. I feel uncomfortable saying that to you, but that's one of my other favorite ever songs that I really enjoy. But no, I mean truly, and that's not even. It's a lot of Faith Evans records that I really like. So let's run her numbers up on the streamers, man. Go listen to some Faith Evans this weekend.
And go watch Have
Uh,
Plenty.
yeah, if you can find it, it's definitely on
Oh,
Tubi.
it's out there. You
It,
can find you can find it.
where? Where?
You can find Have Plenty. You'll
Man,
see.
on Tubi, you probably gotta go to the Library of Congress to find to, to find Tubi. If I have plenty, man, get out of here.
Let's see. Let's see where we can
They
find this.
like this movie, this one.
Yeah, it's there. This is tough.
Yes, on
Guess what?
Tubi.
Guess what? It's
From
on Tubi.
Freevee.
It's on
What did I
Tubi.
say? Hey man, it's Tubi. Shout out to Tubi, man.
It's on Tubi. So yeah, go check it out. It's
So
also on YouTube. I
the
know it's not.
movie.
That's just a no.
Oh, I
I'm
was like,
lying.
hold on, YouTube like they gonna shut that down. They like, hey, shut that
I'm
down right
lying.
now.
You can also get the DVD on Amazon.
For how much? Ooh,
Take
yeah,
a guess.
$17.99.
Up.
What?
Oh, it's also
28.
available. It's available on Prime.
Okay. But I'm still okay. This DVD,
But
$28.99.
DVD. You said
$28.99.
$28.99.
Yeah. Get out of here.
You can
$37.99. Stop. Okay. $64.71.
good call. $59.98 on
What?
Amazon for the Have Plenty DVD.
Hold on.
That
Hold
tells
on.
you the movie was excellent.
Okay, relax. That's probably the only copy in the world.
That might be, but
It's only
that brings the
$59.99.
price up, man. That jacks the
Get
price
out of
up.
here. For half what? Okay, Sarah, another poll. Who's actually watched Have Plenty outside of theirs? Thanks. Gotta be kidding. 50 what? 50 not for the DVD?
For the DVD, yeah.
And it's on Prime.
Wait. You can find a used here. I got a used copy here for $39.
Say no.
There's
No.
also a used copy here for $100.
No way. Is it signed? Who's it? Okay, who's in Have Plenty? Not okay, not here we go. Here's a rabbit hole. Who's actually is there a celebrity that is still relevant now? I got me Googling this
Um,
stuff.
Hold on, let's see. Have Plenty was directed and starred Christopher Scott Sherritt. So
Oh
the
yeah,
main
oh
character.
that's the I'll be oh yeah, look at these I'll be sure days, man.
You know who was in this?
Who?
Hill Harper was in Have Plenty.
Man, he was running the world for a minute.
Yeah.
I bet you this brother from Have Plenty was like, yeah, I'm about to be in the mom. I'm in the movie. I wrote it. About to be big.
Well, you know
up
what
to now?
happened? He sold it. I think the story is he sold it. And then they had he sold it to Babyface.
Mm-hmm.
And then they wanted him to redo the ending because they wanted a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to redo it, and they actually they reshot it and put it into the film.
Mm-hmm.
This happy ending version.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, check it out. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
Check it out, and then tell
I'm
me it's a bad movie.
I'm scared to see how much it is on Prime. The DVD $59.99, but I'll check it out. Is
You can rent it for $5.99, and you can
okay.
buy it on Prime for $19.98.
No, so the renting I will do. This will be a one watch.
Well, no, you can go watch it on Tubi for free.
Oh, shout out. Shout
Yeah,
out to Tubi.
yeah,
Shout out
yeah.
to Tubi. We have done. I do a Tubi record, man. We have done one in a while, man. I know you kind of gave up Tubi for a minute. You had to give it up for a little bit. But we can jump right back in it, man. To be never disappoints.
We'll go. I think there's a new episode new episodes of the Dirty D out there. It's about Detroit, but
Shout out Detroit.
it
Shout
is
out
a
Detroit.
little
We
dirty.
should do a live show in Detroit with all the
filmmakers, the up and coming
filmmakers.
filmmakers.
Hey man, we might not
in the
come back
D.
home. We might not come back home. So thank you for checking out the Super Duper Pod.
Hey,
okay,
we were talking about Jackie Robinson.
Yes.
The Court Martial of Jackie Robinson. Go check that out.
Okay.
It was a made for TV. I think it was on HBO. In the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But 13 years before Rosa Parks sat at the front of the bus in protest, Jackie Robinson did the same thing 13 years earlier while in the Army.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was actually court-martialed for it.
You know what? So I'm gonna call Dr. Williams. I'm sure he knows a lot of stuff about Jackie Robinson. And maybe we can get him on before Jackie Robinson Day. That's April 14th. All the players, because 42 is retired in baseball. Which
go get your 42 hat. I buy mine every year just to keep it. Keep that alive. Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Because it's. And I know we were just signing off, but this stuff I'm talking about is like stuff like that, right? Honoring Jackie Robinson. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't wear a Jackie Robinson hat, and I admire everything he does. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand, but it's like I don't rock a Jackie Robinson. And I should, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm gonna make that a priority.
I make it a must that, you know, if I'm gonna wear a Sox hat, it's gonna be a 42 hat.
42.
Yeah.
Say less. I'm gonna grab one, man. And get, you know, I'm not a jersey dude, but I'll figure some other way to do it, man. But I feel like that's in the world we are in now. That's the stuff we got to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, but even for the boys, why am I wearing the shirt, Dad? Well, here you go, you know, Jackie Robinson, and there you go, man. So I'm glad this is good. We learned a lot today, man. Yeah. But I think that we definitely got to resist. So is there anything else? I missed anything? We good?
That's it, man. I think you covered everything else. The Court Martial of Jackie Robinson. Go check it out.
So thank you for checking out the Super Duper Pod. We do not take your listens lightly. Make sure you follow us on our socials, SUPADUPAPOD, and online at HP53productions.com. Make sure you take care of yourselves and each other. Hey, mama, this is the Super Duper Podcast.
Or do the K stand for kamikaze? The J silent is everywhere, you can feel them probably. Should've, lately, I've been up late with demons in my basement trying to get me to hate this. Life thinking I should be further and then I choke up. As soon as I got silent, then the truth spoke up. They said, how you know you ain't perfect? Let that soak up and soak in. You know how you know that you're blessed? I woke up, feeling, oh my God, feeling myself, know why? 'Cause I woke up. That's all it takes to be great, y'all. That's all it takes. I woke up in a special